There's a symbol of British working life as iconic as a cup of tea or a full English breakfast: the white van. Plumbers, electricians, builders, delivery drivers, the backbone of the economy, keeping the country running one job at a time. But Rachel Reeves, the chancellor who promised to champion working people, has just declared war on them. And the weapon? A hidden tax change that could quadruple their bills. Welcome to Labour's New Britain, where the workers they claim to represent are the first ones in the firing line. Here's what's happening, buried in the fine print of Treasury documents where the Chancellor hoped you wouldn't notice. Changes to benefit-in-kind tax rules for commercial vehicles. Sounds boring, doesn't it? That's the point. But let's translate that into English. If you're a self-employed tradesperson who uses a van for work, which is basically all of them, the tax you pay on that vehicle could quadruple, not increase slightly, not go up a bit, quadruple. A plumber who was paying £500 a year could suddenly be facing $2,000. An electrician's tax bill could jump from manageable to crippling. And here's the kicker. This isn't hitting wealthy corporations or big businesses. This is landing squarely on the self-employed, small business owners, and rural workers who have no alternative but to use a van. Remember when Labour said they wouldn't raise taxes on working people? Well, technically, they haven't raised income tax or VAT, but if you're a white van man, your tax bill is about to explode anyway. It's the oldest trick in the Treasury playbook. Don't change the headline rate, just move the goalposts. Let's talk about who gets hit hardest by this. It's not the urban elite sipping lattes in Islington. It's not the wealthy pensioners in the home countries. It's the very people Labour claims to represent. The self-employed plumber in Yorkshire who's built a business from scratch. The electrician in Wales who works 60-hour weeks to support a family. The builder in Scotland who's trying to compete with bigger firms. The rural delivery driver who has no public transit alternative. And it disproportionately hammers rural workers. If you live in London, you can take the tube. If you're in Manchester, there's a tram. But if you're a tradesperson in Cornwall, Cumbria, or the Scottish Highlands, you need that van. It's not a luxury, it's not a perk, it's the tool that lets you earn a living. This is a tax on aspiration, on self-reliance, on people who wake up at 5 in the morning, do honest work, and ask for nothing except to be left alone to earn a decent living. And Rachel Reeves has looked at those people and said, you know what, we need more of your money. Here's what makes this particularly stunning: the political tone deafness. Labour just spent an entire election campaign talking about being on the side of working people. Keir Starmer stood in front of factories and building sites, promising a government that understood the struggles of ordinary Britons. And then, months into power, they hit the very people they claimed to champion with a tax increase that could quadruple their bills. The reaction has been exactly what you'd expect. White van men across Britain are furious. Small business groups are sounding the alarm. Rural communities are asking, did Labour forget we exist? But here's the deeper problem. This isn't just bad policy, it's bad politics. Labour's coalition is already fragile. They won a landslide on a historically low vote share because the opposition was divided. They can't afford to alienate core working-class voters. And yet, that's exactly what they're doing. The self-employed, small business owners, tradespeople, these are exactly the voters Labour needs to keep on side if they want a second term. Instead, they're sending them a message: we don't understand your lives and we don't particularly care. The Treasury's defense, such as it is, goes something like this: we need to close tax loopholes. We need to raise revenue. Difficult decisions. The standard script when a government does something unpopular and hopes you'll forget about it. But here's why that doesn't wash. This isn't closing a loophole used by the wealthy to dodge taxes. This isn't making Google or Amazon pay their fair share. This is hitting people who already pay their taxes, who are already squeezed by rising costs, who are already working flat out just to stay afloat. And the revenue? It's a rounding error in the context of government spending. The amount raised by hammering white van men won't fix the NHS, won't solve the housing crisis, won't transform the economy. It'll barely register in the Treasury's accounts. So what's actually happening here is simple. Labor needed to raise money, looked around for easy targets who couldn't fight back effectively, and landed on the self-employed. It's not brave, it's not progressive, it's lazy revenue raising that punishes aspiration. Rachel Reeves has declared war on white van men whether she realizes it or not, a hidden tax change buried in Treasury documents that could quadruple bills for the self-employed tradespeople and rural workers who keep this country running. These are the people who fix your boiler at midnight, who wire your house, who deliver your passages, who build your extensions, and labor's message to them is clear: work harder and we'll take more. This is how governments lose touch. This is how political movements forget who they're supposed to represent. And this is how a chancellor who dreams of being prime minister discovers that betraying your base has consequences. The white van men won't forget. The question is, will labor realize their mistake before it's too late?